Did you get to practice any stuff?
You know, this week we didn't, because I didn't have a partner to do any recall.
Sure.
But what I decided to do was we did some things, very light type recall. Like I would sit at the park, or I would go to up by Gold Coast up there in that little park up there, and I'd let him kind of wander, and I'd let him kind of loosey-goosey,
Sure.
and then I'd nick him really quick and he'd come right back.
Okay.
So I kind of taught him a little bit like, hey, this means get in that position.
Sure.
Let him play with some other dogs. There was a really big, probably kid Burmese walking, and he was off leash and he was running around the park talking to people and going on. People love him, so
Sure.
they're just let him go. And I could tell he was thinking about it, and so I gave him, and he just right here paid attention to me. So I did a little bit of that type of.
Okay, keep doing that if that's what you have.
Yeah.
It's hard when it's just
Yeah.
especially if you got because he doesn't have crate drive or anything like that.
Yeah.
That you just take advantage of. Is it Independence Park?
What?
Independence Park, is that what you're talking about?
No, the one up Whispers there, where Gold Coast is, Gibson's and Tavern. And
Okay.
that little coffee shop.
I know
right in
that.
the center.
Okay.
Across from Dublin's.
Because I have a client that lives kind of near that area, and she goes to Independence Park. It's a nice square open park.
Yeah.
It's also very cool. Okay.
Yeah. There's another really cool park right down Larrabee here. It's fenced in. It's not a park, I think. It's just a fence, and everybody goes in there and lets the dogs run
I think I know
around.
what you're talking about.
Yeah, there's really, actually I shouldn't say everybody, there's really not a lot of dogs. Maybe there's one or two dogs.
Yeah,
but it's
neighborhood.
just, it's just, I don't know what's in there in terms of class or whatever.
Yeah, you're talking about over by Groupon?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I have a client that lives right there.
Yeah, right across the
And that's where
street.
we would go work with her dogs.
Yeah, it's a cool little, I think you can get in on the east side.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
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 Right. Cool.
So we did that. We did, and again, we did, every day we did our normal, 4 or 5 mile walk. And we haven't worn a leash in 2 weeks.
Okay.
So
Sure.
he's getting a lot of that practice.
Excellent.
Really good at, all I really have to do is slow down at the sidewalks. If I don't slow down at the sidewalks quick enough, I just say Fitz, and he looks right up at me and stops. So it might not be exactly the way the training is, but at least he's under control.
Okay. So the way I go about training, I take into accordance the dog's personality and then the human and all that stuff. And because Fitz is pretty laid back, right? So let's say your heel is loose. Personally, I like a tight heel.
Yeah.
But if the dog's just lazy, let's say you had a Bernese, right? They're just slow as it is and stuff, and they're a little bit loose, and the owner's like, this is just how the dog is. Then I'm like, all right, whatever. I'm not worried about just super tight, because they're also big, so they tire out faster.
Yeah.
Then I'm not worried about them taking off. If you want to be strict about it, then how do you say? You want to reinforce it. In my opinion, the stricter the better. But I don't need perfection. He's a family pet.
Yeah.
You need functional, right?
Yeah.
So that's fine. And actually, that reminds me, because I know you wanted off leash, right? Do you need everything off leash, or do you really just care about the walking and then the recall stuff?
Yeah, I think that I don't know what else there is. I don't know what else off leash there is. Right now that's all we really need, I think.
Sure.
So he does keep it tight though naturally, so tight, he kind of cuts me off.
Gotcha.
I have to constantly
Move off the side.
Yeah, so he does. He keeps it tight.
Yeah. So everybody's kind of life with their dog is different.
Yeah.
So some people I walk to the dog park and I let my dog off leash there, and then that's about it, right? Then it's super simple. But if they want to be able to go to a restaurant patio, because I know you've done that with Starbucks or something, right?
Yeah.
So, and that he stays with you, no problem. So what you have is kind of like an informal, what's the word? Stationary control. Formal would be if you say Fitz down, he lays down, he doesn't move, right? That would be more so towards off leash, right? In the sense of you have more verbal control as opposed to implied control. Does that make sense?
I get it completely, because a lot of times we'll go to the park, and when he's on this, his control is only the heel maybe
Sure.
he won't sit.
Sure.
But he does know that command.
Sure.
So yeah, so you're right. It's kind of a common. It'd be nice to be able to have both.
Okay.
Just tell him, down.
Okay.
And I'm willing to spend some time. Spend some time not expecting that it happens overnight.
Right. So we can go over the sit stuff today.
Okay.
Does he know down at all?
Yeah, he does. He does know down.
Okay.
He knows down retreats though, and I think if I faked it without a treat.
Sure. So all it means is we need to layer in the remote over these things.
Okay.
Because I remember telling you when we first spoke, let's just do 6 and see what you get, right? Because I was like, because you're one of the first people, I was like, I don't know what we're going to be able to achieve realistically. I was like, I have an idea. That's why I was like, don't do 12, do 6. But then if you're fine with the heel, the recall, and all the stuff that we've covered, and you're like, yeah, this is what I wanted, then I'm like, great, we're done, right? So we go over those 2 things today. If you want more, you can book more, but I would contact Maria already. If anything, I would just do about 3 more.
Yeah.
If you decide to do more.
Yeah, I think what we'll do is we'll probably play around with what you've taught for a little bit,
Sure.
maybe a month, a couple months, and then
That's
come
fine.
back and do some more.
You can do that
I
too.
think that's what he seems to do well with and it works well with me too. To be able to work with him for a little bit, find out what I like, let him settle into some of his
Yeah, for
habits, maybe get another bad habit, and then say, hey, listen, this is a bad habit, let's fix this.
Okay, so what we'll do is we'll definitely cover the sit, we'll try to cover the down. Okay. Down's a little bit more complicated, but since he already knows it, it should be easier. And then it's really just practice.
Cool.
Okay.
I have been playing around too with the, this is the first week that I played around with the settings. Like, I've kept it really low, 20, 25,
Okay.
and if he feels a little bit, then he's fine, he's right there. But on some situations that, like we were at like that whisper sitting there, and I was talking to somebody, he rolled off, and I called him, and I was like, Fitz, come. And he didn't come, and I nicked him, he didn't come, so I ripped her up to 40, and he came right over.
Good.
So I'm really realizing that if it's as much me sensing a bad situation
Sure.
before he does.
Yeah.
It's knowing my dog that if I sense a bad situation, like I can see him eyeing something, like I'll rip it up.
Yeah.
And give him a little.
Yes, it's partially awareness, right?
Yep.
I think people expect that with dog training, you don't have to worry about anything. Like, no, it's like in case you have the control, but in case things start to go south, you also have the ability to prevent it or to address it if it's already happening. You know? Yeah. So that's all good. That's what makes me us a good dog trainers, a good handlers, is that we're very aware of what's going on. Especially like if you see our videos, we're walking like 8 dogs. You guys walking 6 dogs at a time. That you have to be aware of your environment. So if I see something like a loose dog, like if someone asks like, "What do you do if there's a loose dog?" I'm like, "Well, we don't walk past it."
Right.
I have 8 dogs. Like I'm not dumb.
Yeah.
We work around it. So yeah, all that's good. So we'll cover that stuff today. And then I'll let Maria know that you'll get in contact with her later.
Okay.
Because I know she was saying that Sundays are booked and that we need more spots. So okay. So let's go ahead and leash him up. We won't worry about the recall stuff right now. We'll go down to the shade.
Okay.
To work with the sit stuff.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good. I didn't bring his normal leash.
Oh, you're fine. I didn't bring this shit. Do you have your slip?
It's okay.
I do.
You do? Go ahead and grab it. We'll meet you down over by the water.
There's Gus. Hey. Hi, Gus.
All right.
Do not bother to.
He's gonna grab a shorter leash.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you don't have to worry about the long one.
Yeah, he's really taken. I mean, maybe you're used to this, but he's taken really fast to exactly what has been most important, and that is not paying attention to other dogs. I mean, I can't tell you every day I walk, I must get a dozen compliments. People are like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like, people walk by, they're like, whoa. I mean, I even walk past, now I'm starting to even walk past police, and they don't even say.
Oh, really?
They don't even say, I mean, because he's just right here.
Yeah.
And they don't, I mean, I think anything, they would just say, hey, put your dog on a leash.
Yeah.
I don't think they would.
So, because I used to walk along the lakefront with 4 dogs off leash when I was in the South Loop.
Yeah.
And police used to stop me all the time, and they used to say, yo, like, you should train for us, the canine unit.
Yeah.
And the fire department, because they do their dives off into the lake right there.
Yeah.
Same thing, they'd be like, oh, like, you should work for the police department. Everybody was always raving about the dogs and how well trained they were until one cop in his squad car came up to me one day and he's like, you better put a leash on all those dogs or I'll give you a ticket for each one.
Yeah.
You know, so but that was one out of like 100 dogs.
Exactly, and I'm expecting. I mean, it's
Yeah.
not like I flaunt it. It's just sometimes if they come around the corner.
For sure.
Like, I'm like, oh.
Yeah, just tell them it's an invisible leash.
Yeah.
And I always suggest, like, if people are using their off-leash obedience, just to keep a leash on hand.
Oh, I always have one, and it's usually dangling, so sometimes it looks like it's hooked.
Gotcha.
So if I walk past the cop, he thinks it's hooked. I could be like,
That's
I
funny.
didn't even know it came on.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I carry it right there.
Yeah.
So
But I see people, like, there's that guy that used to walk was that a Sporty, the
Yeah.
golden
Yeah.
retriever? He used to walk all the way through downtown, like busy downtown too, like Clark and over by Wacker.
Oh, you should see me. We walked down Michigan Avenue.
Yeah.
Off leash.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I kid you not. He's 5 miles for the past 3 weeks. He hasn't wore a leash ever, no matter where I go.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And people are just, I mean, they're falling over. I told you I must give your name out 20 times a week.
Yeah, for sure.
They're just flabbergasted, like how good he is. So he's really picked up. Like he knows, like at least the most important command. You got to stop. This is your name, and I want you right here.
Right.
He knows that.
Excellent. Good
So-
job.
All right.
You can actually clip them on. Well, not clip them.
Oh, okay.
We can use this one. We'll go down to the
Okay.
water
Okay.
there, so we're in the shade.
Right on.
We'll need it for the sit stuff.
Okay. Oh, what kind is that? I might hang you with that.
Thank you.
Okay.
Alrighty, let's head on down.
Okay, let's go. Okay, let's go.
I think Sam's back on the calendar for today.
Yeah, I'll tell you, it's great. I mean, to be able to like go to Starbucks, grab a coffee, and then walk him like 4 or 5 miles when I'm drinking a coffee, and like he's just right by my side.
Not having all that crap in your hand.
So awesome.
Yeah. We'll go down to that bench right there.
Okay.
Work right there in the shade for once. Sun's being out in the sun. All right. So what we're gonna do here is I'm trying to remember. Was Fitz auto sitting when we first started teaching him heel? Was he doing it by himself, or was he? Did we teach him that?
Yeah, no, I think he. Boy, I don't remember. His command used to be the hand. That's what I learned at Anything Is Possible.
Sure.
Was just the hand. He
Sure.
figured that, and the down was same thing. We would just bring it down to the ground, and like he wouldn't. like I wouldn't say.
That's hilarious.
I wouldn't say like down, and he would go down. I mean, I had to like
Get
coax
used
him
to it.
down.
Okay, cool.
And he knows paw, but paw now is associated with my office manager. Who brings him lunch every day.
Oh, really?
Oh, it's great. It's great. We had shish kebabs this week. He had chicken. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, no, I'm all for it.
So
Yeah, I mean,
It's got a good
eating the
life.
same shit every day gets boring. You know?
Yeah.
I like dogs aren't meant to be eating kibble; they're meant to be eating.
yeah, she's the one who did the grape. We stopped the grapes. As he said,
Oh, yeah,
no
for
more
sure,
grapes. He likes bananas, but he's starting to get diarrhea, so let's lay off
That's bananas?
lay off a whole banana every day.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah, so she
I'm
stopped
surprised he's not bigger.
I know, and we get a lot of exercise,
For sure.
and she bought him ice cream this week, and that was 3 days, and that was to like stop the ice cream every day.
Maybe he's
Well, it was the doggy ice cream.
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
still, his stomach, he was gurgling for. I'm like enough with the ice cream.
So what we'll do here is we'll start with the sits.
Okay.
And what I'm gonna have you do is don't worry about heel, don't say heel. And if
Okay.
anything, walk him on your right side.
Okay.
Or reverse. So what I'll do is I'll have the dog on a leash, right, which is like walking in circles, and like just like kind of I walk backwards so the dog's walking towards me as well. So you're making no sense whatsoever.
Okay.
And you want to do this as you're moving. So as you're moving and Fitz is moving towards you, when you're ready, you're not going to say sit at the beginning. You're just going to pull up and start tapping, but then you're going to stop moving as well. So what we're trying to do is get Fitz to sit while he's in motion, because if you walk with him and stop, he's most likely going to do it automatically because of the heel stuff, right? So that's why we do this while we're in motion.
Okay.
And then you just pull up on the leash, and as soon as you pull up and you feel that tension here, you would start tapping until he puts his butt down, but don't worry about the verbal cue right now.
Okay.
Okay? Questions?
No.
Go for it.
Okay.
Good. I'm going to get a little praise here. Go ahead and you're going to walk around him like you're doing a stay, but don't say stay.
Okay.
Good. Back to the side. You're going to say break.
Break.
And we're trying that 4 more times. And what's your number right now?
30.
30. Let's try 45. Good, and then move around. Good, break when you're ready.
You know, he is so much better with you.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
He's like, it's school time.
Yeah, he knows. They're so smart. They okay, break. Oh, you are confused.
Good. Yep. Let's go around. How many shirts you have made?
Navy one, brown one,
Great. 2 more.
black one, and that green one.
Break.
That's it.
Your friend does screen printing?
He hooked me up with a store,
Oh, okay.
and they only charge $10.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You just bring the shirt, whatever?
Yeah.
Good. Yep. Move around. Thought about it there.
Yeah. Which is even better.
So this is like, like if he broke out of position, you would correct this just like you did the stays before.
Yeah.
Right? So it's the same, it's technically the same exercise, but we made a couple of changes because we're teaching him that when he feels upwards pressure on the neck, paired with the tap, it means to put that butt down. Okay, we're gonna do 1 more, then we'll move to the next step.
Okay. Break.
Good. Yep. Move around. Very good. So now,
Good job.
we're going to do the same thing, except when you pull up on that leash, you're not going to stop. You're actually going to keep moving. Okay? So you're walking with Fitz. Let's say he's moving towards me, right? So I'm just reversing. When you pull up and tap, you're keeping that movement, right? So right now you're pulling up, you're stopping and doing this.
Understood.
Right? We taught that. He's got it. So now we want to teach him that you stopping has nothing to do with the command, right? So you're backing up, you pull up the tap, but you're still moving. And what I'll do is if I hit the end of the leash, I'll just come out to the side clockwise so that I can keep the motion going, because obviously if you keep going this way, you're either going to pull him or you're going to drop the leash. You want to keep it on the hand, so if I reverse, then I can keep the motion going simply by going around him. Okay? We'll do 5 of those.
I guess I don't even need to say break. He's ready to go, but I should use
You
break.
should say break, yeah.
Okay. Break.
Attaboy. Right, and you want to keep your movement. Good.
Good boy.
So right, so right when you pulled up, no stopping. Still walking.
Like, what would what's a real world application for that? Like,
Oh, it's not so much real world application.
okay,
Well, technically there is.
okay,
That would be, let's say Fitz got to cross the street. You can't call Fitz because that would bring him to the street again, right?
Yeah.
That's where we would use a command in motion. The reason why I'm doing it this way
yeah,
is so that we're able to make, give ourselves the opportunity to actually use the up and remote to teach the sit with the remote collar.
okay.
Because that's what we're trying to do.
Because how's he gonna know? Like,
We'll say sit.
oh, we won't. Okay.
Yeah, but what
Got
we're
it.
doing here is we're teaching the behavior first,
Oh,
and
okay.
then we're going to label it. So
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Because if he's across the street, how am I gonna?
Yeah,
You know, if I hit
sit.
this, he's gonna come cruising across.
Right. So after we do another 4 of these, then we're going to start layering in the
Okay,
word sit.
let's go. Okay. Break.
Yeah, keep your movement. There you go. Good.
So am I not supposed to pull up at all?
You still pull up, but
Okay.
but don't stop.
It's
you
just
keep
hard
walking.
not to stop. Okay. Good job. Good job. Okay. Break.
Any more? Get him up.
Break.
Forward. There you go. Good. Keep moving. Yep, keep moving.
Okay.
And then, yeah, like that. So he puts his butt down.
Okay.
So as soon as you pull up, he's supposed to sit, right? But then you, when you're pulling up, you're still walking. Okay. I know it's habit of having to stop.
It's just hard. I run out of
Right. So when you run out of leash, that's when you go to the side.
Okay. Got it. Way. Good job.
Good. 2 more.
Good job. Okay, break.
Up. Tap. Keep it up. Come in a step, but keep moving. Up. Tap. Yeah. Now move. Around. There you go. Like that. Good. We're gonna try that. We're gonna try that 2 more times.
Okay.
That was exactly what it's supposed to look like. But you saw the confusion.
Yeah. Oh,
and
yeah.
I'll explain that afterwards. Okay.
Yeah. It's okay. Hang in
Got
there.
it, buddy. Good.
Hang in there. Okay. Hang in there.
Break.
Okay. Break.
2 more. Yep, and then relax. There you go, perfect, just like that. Good. Good boy. We're gonna do 1 more.
So exhausted. What a baby. Break.
Yep, there it is, good, relax, perfect.
It's I think I know what it is now. It's that when I don't stop,
Yes.
he's pulling, or I'm pulling on him because I run out of leash. So he thinks that because I just let go on the leash a little bit, gave him some slack, and he sat down right away.
Okay.
I think that's what it is. Okay.
Good.
Boy.
So we'll tell him break, we'll let him rest for a couple of
Break.
minutes or so. And I'll process all that. So here, now we're gonna start saying the word sit. So now what we've conditioned Fitz to do is when he feels that upwards pressure paired with the remote, it means to put that butt down. Okay, so that's like the non-verbal cue of sit. Now you're gonna do the exact same thing, except the before pulling up, you're gonna give that cue, right? Everything stays the same. So you're moving around as you're walking, sit, then up and tap, okay? As you're still moving. If you see Fitz start to put his butt down, you don't need to do anything, just keep your movement. The reason for the moving is to remove you from the equation. Okay, so when you did the first one correctly, where you didn't stop and then Fitz just kept going like this to look at you, is because you're moving, right? So it's easier if you stop and pull up, because then you're not moving. But since he's so inclined to follow you, a lot of dogs will track the owner. And what we're trying to teach him is me standing, me moving, me 10 feet away, 20 feet away, 2 feet away, doesn't matter. This means to put your butt down, right? So you're teaching him how to, or not how to really kind of clarify the sit command in his brain. And whether or not you build it to the point of application to where, like, let's say Fitz is across the street and you say sit and he does it, because that's what he's supposed to do. Sit means sit wherever you're at. A lot of people teach sit here, right? They'll tell the dog to sit in the tree, and then literally I'll see dogs walk across the room and sit for the owner. I'm like, well, if you try to use that in real life,
Exactly. Yeah. Right.
right? So we're partially doing that by having you move and teaching them, like, when you feel this, just put your butt down. Don't care what I'm doing, just put your butt down, right? And then once we attach the verbal cues to it, if you've practiced enough, you can get up to that level of control. Okay. I've only ever had one person that it was actually a client's dad. He lived in Winnetka, and across the street, his owner had like a little poodle and he had a schnauzer, and they like run across both of the yards across the street. So I remember knocking on his door, and he's like, "You Jesse?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "I got one question." He's like, "Can you teach my dog to lay down no matter what? I don't care if he's playing, I don't care if he's running away, I don't care if he's running towards me, I don't care if this. I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "You're hired." Like, literally, that's all it was. He's like, "I need a dog to do that." And I was like, "Why?" He's like, "Because of this." He's like, "If I see a car coming down, I need my dog to plop." Right? So from day one, we were teaching that, right? My other trainer, Maddie, we did this with her dog as well. We call them instant downs or instant sits. And there was one day where her dog was running towards the street, and I forgot why, but recall in that moment was not going to be applicable, that she had to use down. So when she said that, she's like, he just plopped.
Wow.
And she's like, I don't know what would have happened if we had not worked on that, right?
Wow.
So obviously it's super rare when it's applicable.
Yeah.
Not everybody.
It's a cool thing to have.
Yeah, it's like the emergency, if things go south, I have it.
Yeah.
And I literally started like this, okay? I start teaching these things, more advanced concepts, immediately because they're super simple. You know, people make them more complex by adding all these other things, but it's very simple, okay? So what we're gonna do here is, now that he's rested, is same exact exercise. You're moving with Fitz, but now you're gonna cue the word sit. Just before you do that pull up and tap, you will continue with your motion. Okay, like you were on that last match. And then again, circle around that stuff, back to the side, good boy, and break. Okay. If you see him sit on the cue with no pulling or tapping, you can don't do anything. Just let it go, and then walk around like normal.
Yeah.
Okay, because we're trying to teach them. If you respond like this, you avoid all pressure.
How do you feel about like sounds and noises? Because for some reason I got into a bad habit of not necessarily using heel. I kind of like, hey, you know, I do that, and it seems to take to it. We go.
As long as it's consistent.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know.
I was because I caught myself doing it yesterday. I'm like, that's my bad habit.
Yeah,
So.
and technically, if you say heel first, right, to start it off, and let's say on the following ones, but you're always leading with that left leg, that's actually what matters the most. Okay. Some people say let's go. Some people say heel. You know, some people say come on. You know, like, because we're human, we have multiple terms for the same kind of subject.
Yeah.
It's not the terrible thing, but I wouldn't want to use like, or I can't do that sound. For like a number of behaviors.
Okay.
Because then it's like, which behavior am I supposed to do that to that one sound?
It only means like when we're at a crosswalk and it turns walk. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I used to use heel and I lead with my left foot, but lately I've been going, you know, I'm like, I shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah, it's like some people say break and they'll say okay and they'll say go play.
Yeah.
All meaning the same thing, right? But it's multiple phrases for one behavior.
Right.
So that's fine. Okay. Go ahead.
Are you ready? Hey. Come on, heel. Come on, heel.
Hip, hip. Hip, hip.
Come on, heel.
Good.
Okay. Here we
There
go.
he is.
Okay.
He's so lazy and high.
Okay.
And a boy.
Good boy. That boy. Okay. We'll wait till you walk away. Okay. All right. Let's go.
Yep. Move backwards. Tap, 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 tap. There he is. Good.
So freaky. So weird. Sit.
Okay. Keep your movement.
Oh, sorry.
Use again.
I don't think I'm coordinated enough.
It's a lot of coordinating. Yeah.
Oh, boy. All right. Boy.
Good. 4 more.
Good boy. Sit.
Yeah. Good. There you go. Relax. Perfect.
Okay.
Good. Break.
Good boy. Break.
Good. 3
Break.
more. Forward, forward, forward. Yep. There he is. And a boy.
You're fine.
You guys are fine.
Sit.
Right? Good movement. Good job. Good.
Such a baby.
Good.
Okay, break.
Good.
Come on.
Yep. 2 more.
Sit.
That was a good one. Good job. Yep. Good.
Attaboy. Attaboy. Good job.
Break.
Break.
Good. Last one. Oh yeah, that was fun. Relax the speed.
Oh yeah, he does. No. Sit.
Good. Perfect.
Oh, sorry, I should have
Tap,
stopped.
tap, tap. Good.
Is that what it was? You were bored? Are you bored?
Good. Right there. Okay. So the next phase of this is actually that, right? So we started very simple, right? First I stopped, and then again to sit to learn just that behavior. Then it was okay. I keep moving. You put your butt down. Then it's I keep. Now here's a cue, right? And then it's okay. Now we're moving at a faster pace, right? So if you're trying to build to like what I mentioned earlier, of having that command, whether he's chasing the squirrel, he's running towards the street, he's playing, and I say sit, it means no matter what you're doing, put that butt down. Is in order to build to that, you have to recreate that, right? So when you started just that light jog, that's the next logical step. Same stuff, faster speed, but then his energy changed.
Yeah.
Then it becomes playful, perfectly fine. So now what we're teaching him is, hey, if you're moving quickly, or if you're in a playful state, as soon as you hear this word, it's on and off. Right? So like my pit, like I have no problem roughhousing with dogs and stuff like that. I just want people to know what you're creating, right? But also know that you have control. So like my pit, I grab her jowls and she's growling and all that stuff.
Sure.
And I walk away with scratches, she's a dog.
Yeah.
She's very mouthy. But as soon as we're done, we're done. Or if I were to say sit, boom, she'd pop her butt down, everything just turns off. And she could be in a very high intensity state, and as soon as I say sit, boom, everything's off, and okay, here I am, right? If you're wanting that end result, you have to create that, okay? So then we're gonna do it real quick here. We'll just do a couple of reps so he doesn't tire out. I'm gonna have you do what you start to do at the end. It's just like the light jog, right? You don't have to switch around so much to make it easier for you. And then you can even try backwards with him moving towards you. Sit, tap, tap. And
go ahead.
As soon as you see that button go down, you can go back to your normal pace.
Okay. Would you ever kind of, I know how you're training it, but would you ever skip kind of a little bit of the leash and see what he does?
Yes.
I'd be curious to see what he does without the leash right now. If I can get him to say, hey, listen, stop, sit right now, without giving him the command, without giving him the pull.
Yes. So the reason why we're doing the pull now is because you have to build the behavior.
Okay.
Right? Because I guarantee you, if you drop that leash and just say sit, he's most likely going to not move, like he's going to go off over there, or he's going to not do it and keep following you.
Okay.
So the reason for the leash here is to help him put the brakes, right? Because you have a way of physically stopping him, and once you've conditioned that enough times, then I still have the leash, then I say the sit, and he does it, but this is there just in case. Okay? So there's phases to it until eventually I've done enough reps with the dog that I trust that they'll do it sans leash, and then we move to that step, right? So it's always
Got it.
leash pressure, leash present, leash dragging, no leash. That's how I progress that. Okay?
I guess I just think you're too smart. Okay. Ready? Break. Sit.
Right, keep moving. There you go, good.
Away. Okay, break. Sit.
Good, keep your movement. On this next one, say sit, keep moving, but don't do any leash pressure.
Okay. Break. Sit.
There you go. And careful. And
Sorry.
pause for a sec. Good.
Okay, good
So
boy.
that's the purpose of the phases, to build to that, and then when you get that part, because that would be the next logical step, without any need for the leash, repeatedly, then I go to now let's try it with the leash dragging or with the leash not present, because you've seen it time and time again. Okay, it's very easy to see quick progress because of the tools.
Yeah.
And to create like a false sense of how would you say accomplishment, where it's like, oh, the dog's ready. We're like, no, like it's a lot of conditioning.
Yeah.
Before I feel like the dog is fully reliable, because we're trying to get to real life scenario.
Right.
Okay. But that's how it's supposed to look.
Okay.
What you were saying, what you're already thinking,
Yeah.
is how it's supposed to look, but you're just repeating the steps to get there.
Got it.
Okay. Question so far?
No. I just I get how you're doing it. I just think sometimes he's
Yes.
so used to it. He's just taken so quickly to this. At least in my I didn't think it was going to be this quick.
Yeah. No.
So
This is why we're able to teach more in a shorter time frame. So like we actually had a lady, she dropped off her 2 dogs yesterday for a daycare, and they were jumping and crazy. And she's like, I'm sorry, I had them trained. They went to a 2-week boarded train, and I don't know what they taught them, this and that. And I'm like, no, they didn't taught them anything. Yeah, right? And then she's like, so we started talking, and then she's like, it's amazing because her dog was on the pack walk. So this is his first day. She's like, how, I was like, we use prong collar, we know how to use the tools. And then she's like, I spent so much money, how come my dog isn't better? And I was like, well, technically, the ultimate tool or training approach is this, it's e-collar. I was like, but they get more money out of you by selling you on do this, then do this before you do e-collar. Because you can then turn 3,000 into 9,000.
sure.
And I go, for me, because I know this isn't necessary, I'm not making that 6,000, but I'm getting a very happy customer who then sends me a bunch more customers.
Oh yeah, trust me. Yeah. People are just in awe.
Yeah. So e-collar is super simple, very easy, and these are advanced concepts that we're teaching day one, right? And it's quick because of how we're teaching it.
Yeah.
Okay?
Well, what I like about it is ultimately I just think it's easier on him. I think it's easier on the dog. He understands.
Yeah.
He's just getting a little vibration, and he knows just behave.
Correct. Dogs bite each other. I totally agree with it. That's how they handle things. So, questions about that particular exercise?
Nope.
So for you, to that, we're going to move to down, is in the mornings before you do your walk, I would start with that.
Okay.
Okay? Because you will work him out. This way the walk isn't slow. Like we're not worried about him taking too much during the walk. And start it kind of like we did. You know, like you can go and start with the cues, with the slow and the stopping. But as you start to find like he's responding quicker or easier, then each new day you're just not starting as how would you say, at such a beginning level. You know, you might find after a couple of days you're saying sit as you're running right off the bat, right? I'm like, great, you've already practiced enough to start at that degree and you keep advancing it. The next logical step would be you pop him on a long leash and then you do this on the long leash, right? Do it from a distance. What happens if Fitz is over there smelling a tree and I say sit, right? A lot of times the dogs will pivot around, they won't come to you, but they'll turn to look to you to sit, which I'm fine with because he's still technically doing it in the spot that I cued it, right? Until you get it to the point where you feel like you have the full control. And then I put him on a long leash and he's 10, 15 feet and we're running and zooming around and stuff. And as he's zooming, sit, right? Yeah. That's how you build to the degree of getting your dog to sit no matter what's going on, okay?
Yeah.
So what we'll do here with Mr. Sleepyhead is you've used the term down before, but you've not, but you still had to use your visual cue, right? So what we're gonna try is, let's go ahead and you're gonna just slide the leash out from under Fitz here. I'm gonna have you lightly pull up and give tap, 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 tap. Grab a little bit closer to the, oh there you go, almost. Yep, tap, tap, up. Good. We're gonna pause for a second. Okay. So to get him to sit from down, it's just light pressure up, tapping to go up in position. Okay. Now what you're gonna do is you're gonna relax your leash. We're gonna try to see if he's got a concept of the down. Okay. You're gonna relax, and you're gonna cue the word down. You're not gonna do any hand movement, just the word down, and then you're gonna start tapping. We're gonna see what he does.
Okay.
Okay.
Down, 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 down.
No repeats. Just tapping. Tap, 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 tap.
Poor guy doesn't know.
So here, what we're gonna do, we're gonna reset.
Okay.
You're going to stay down, and afterwards, you're going to let the leash go slack, and with your foot, you're gonna step on that little, in the middle of the U there, until you feel pressure on the back of his neck.
Get him done. I get it. I get what you're doing.
Yeah.
Okay. So command, Nick, and
step
then,
on the leash.
Okay. Down, down, down,
Wait, no
down.
repeats. Just step on, and you can pull up on your handle to shorten the leash. Yep. Tap. 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 Almost. Tap. 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 The first one's always the hardest. Tap. Tap. Almost. Tap. And praise. Attaboy!
There you go. Good job.
Yeah.
I feel so bad you don't know that command. Oh, good job.
There we go.
Good job.
And
Good job. Okay,
Good.
now you know that.
So,
Boy.
I typically don't teach down like this, but because you've already done food stuff,
Yeah.
he had a concept. He's just not again tied into pressure. So this is why I tell everybody it doesn't matter if you've taught your dog with food if you've not taught them through pressure,
Yeah.
because he didn't know what to do, right?
Yeah, he didn't. It was just the little, it's possible training, and,
And he knows it, but he knows it in a different language, if
Yeah.
you would, right?
Yeah.
So what we're trying to do is make everything the same language. So he didn't get it with just the remote, no big deal. He just needed a little bit more incentive, which was the leash pressure on the back, okay? So we're gonna do that 4 more times, and we're gonna do those downs from the sitting position like you had.
Okay.
Okay, that's the easiest. I'm going to lightly pull up here,
Okay.
and tap, tap. Good. Spud down. Good.
Down.
Yep.
Down.
Right, more repeats right there. There you go. Right.
Good.
Nice praise. Good.
That's it. Good job.
Good boy.
Good job. So
Break.
Break.
Good. 3 more.
I guess I don't bias, but he's pretty smart.
He grabs this stuff pretty fast, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe I just have had stupid dogs in the back.
I always say there's no stupid dogs, there's only stupid trainers.
Yeah.
Because I've had people tell me, like, I had one lady tell me that the trainer said it is impossible to teach a dog to heel in real life. And I was like, really? Because I do it every day, right? I had another trainer who said that it was impossible to teach a Pyrenees to lay down. And granted, it did take me about 45 minutes before I got the Pyrenees to lay down because they're so stubborn.
Yeah.
But we taught it. It's just that they don't, how do you say, their toolbox is limited.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Good job.
Keep moving, keep moving.
We're not doing this yet.
Just do 3 more because he's tanking out.
Yeah. Come on, buddy. It's okay. It's all right. Sit.
Good. Go ahead and move around a little bit first.
Yeah, he gets, he learns it, and then that's what he does with the treat. I mean,
Yeah.
he's just like, I just have to do it. That's and then I'm done.
Good, he thought about there.
Yep.
So pause for a second.
Yep.
And remember,
Down.
no repeats.
I did.
Right. Now, you did cue him to lay down, though.
Yeah.
Do you know how, though?
No.
Do you know how you knew what you were going to do?
No.
You start to know him.
Oh.
You start to do this before the down cue. That's why you started to put her down. So what you want to do is always be kind of indifferent. Sit and down. The language is the same because one, you want to prevent that from happening, right? Let's say you tell him to sit, but you do this to tie your shoes, then he's going to lay down, right? And I want it to be all by the verbal cue. So we're going to try that again. Okay. So the reason for the pause is since we're doing down from sit, he's going to learn that sequence. So by putting that pause and varying the time in between, I'm teaching him wait for my cue. Maybe I say it, maybe I don't, but don't assume that I'm going to down you. Okay? Go ahead. Okay.
Break.
Good boy.
Good boy.
We'll get a little excited. Get a little excited. How about this way? Excited. Sit.
Good. Up, tap, tap,
Sit.
tap, tap, tap. Yeah, keep, you can grab closer to the collar. Sit on the piece. Yeah, tap, 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 tap. There you go. And relax. Good. Tap. So here, keep your light pressure. And what you're gonna have to do is increase the pressure on the window. Tap. 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 Up. Tap. Tap. Because he was in that sit position. Okay. What'd you bump it to?
What do you want?
What'd you bump it to?
55.
Okay. So right there, what happened was, he goes, I know you're gonna make me lay down, right? And you want to correct the back to position. We don't say sit, we don't say up. We're just teaching them don't lay down unless I cue you or you're on your own time. Okay, so you just clarify. So then you just put them back into position, which was the sit, and then you continue like you were. Question?
No, so you're basically, so what we should, the way I'm taking this is we'll do a sit and we'll not go in and we'll release again and then do another. Maybe we should do a couple, just go into
Of
sits.
sits,
Yeah,
right? Because
without,
you're creating a habit, right?
exactly, and I get that's what he's doing.
Yeah, so up,
So-
tap, tap,
Up,
tap,
up.
tap, tap, right, and then relax. So you see how you're having to do more physical?
Yeah.
You never want to do more physical, so lightly pull up,
Okay.
tap, tap, tap,
Yeah, you're okay.
up, tap, tap, good, up, tap, tap, and relax, good, right there. We're going to ignore the fact that he moved around a lot, okay? So once he starts to associate, oh, when I'm put in this position, I stay in this position until I'm given the break or I'm given the down command or a heel command or whatever, is you'll start to see him just pop up without the movement. Okay, because the movement is, I don't know what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
and you're teaching him, go back into the position that you were. And it just takes the mistakes and correcting in order for him to clarify that. We never reset those things, ideally. Because if you reset it, you're teaching bad habits. So you play music at all?
What do you mean reset?
Reset, like let's say he was in a sit,
Yeah.
he lays down, you try to tap him, he doesn't get up, and then you move to reset it to start over.
I understand. Get it to what you want, and then
Correct.
break.
Correct. So you're teaching him how to recover. So
And that's kind of instinctive, like for me. I get that now because that's what I do. That's what you taught me right away when in the first lesson with heel is that it doesn't matter left or right turns, just turn around in circles until you get him back to that position and then start.
Yeah. So it's like make it happen, right?
Yep.
If you feel like you're having to drag him up and you're doing a ton of physical, you're doing all the work.
Yeah, I understand.
Right? So then I use the remote and the power to get him to think, how do I get this to stop? What was I doing before? Boom.
Yeah.
It stops. Oh,
Yeah.
tap means go back in position.
Yeah, I wasn't realizing I was doing that now. I know.
Yeah, a lot of people do it.
Yeah.
Like it's subconscious.
Yeah.
Okay? So let's go and do one with just the sit. After that, you say break. One sit, break, and then we'll do sit into the down.
Yep. Okay. Break. Sit.
Up. Yeah. There it is. That was better. And relax. Good. That was much better. Yep. Good. Up. Yep. Good. And relax. Good. There you go.
Good job. Okay. Good job. You're a little confused, aren't you?
I know. Okay. Break. Sit.
Good.
Oh, I wasn't supposed to stop.
Just going to pause for a second here. Yep, you can pat him. Boy. Good. Without moving your body language, or changing your body language, you're going to just keep the word down, tapping, and if anything, leash pressure with your foot. No repeats.
Down.
And praise. And boy. He reads you really well. Zip.
Yeah, I can tell. You know, it's funny. I put more on me not knowing how to train than I do him reading me. Like, if I think I knew more training and more body language for him, I think he'd even be better. But I'm still confused learning. You know?
Right. So what happened there is, I was like, don't change your body language. So it should have just been down, tap, 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 and then this.
And I moved over to that.
Yeah, and you did some hand movements and you shuffled a bit before you cued it. So he knew something was happening because you were stationary for like 3 seconds.
Yeah.
And as soon as you start fidgeting, he's like, something's happening. Right?
He's smarter than me.
So, because this is how dogs communicate. Their primary language is body language.
Right.
Right? Whereas ours is verbal language. But that's why, we still read body language. It's just not as prevalent as in the animal world.
Yeah.
So we're going to try that again.
Yeah.
We'll do one more, but that's the basic exercise.
I get it, and I'll do that. I'll mix it up a little bit real quick, and then I won't give anybody. I got it now.
Yeah.
I got it. Okay.
Break.
Break.
Sit.
Yeah. 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 Bump it. Yeah. There it is. Almost relax. Bump it. Yeah. Right there. Good. And move around.
Down.
That was better. Yeah. Yeah. Pull it forward to tap. 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 Yep. Tap. Good. And praise. And a boy. We're going to keep him in the down. We're going to pause right there. So now what you have is verbal stationary control. Okay. For the sits, that's momentary. So like when you're in the heel, it's automatic. You would not say it verbally now. Okay, that doesn't change. It's still automatic. But it's more so that, like, let's say Fitz is maybe needs to collar him up or something, and he's moving around. You sit. Right. Just put your butt down for a moment so you get this done. Break. Right. Down is for extended periods of time. You go to Starbucks. You're going to be there for an hour, right? And what you've gotten so far is that since Fitz knows to stay with you, he eventually just gets comfortable. So it's not really him being stationary on command. It's him understanding that you're not moving and he's just going into a resting state. Here, it's we've arrived down, which means now you don't move. Okay, so you can do down for as long as you need it. I always tell everybody, what's applicable to you is be applicable because it's going to be different for everybody. So if you need him to down for 2 hours, right? You want to practice that in the house at least 2.5 to 3 hours, okay? Because you're thinking 2 hours in a more distracting environment.
Right.
So I overcompensate inside the house because it's easier. Times that we do this stuff, if maybe you're going to be reading, doing computer work, having dinner, anytime you're going to be stationary for any period of time, you can utilize the down command. In this stage, with the leash on, just so you have something to step on if needed. And then I keep it under my foot, so if I'm doing computer work and I start to feel my leash tug, I know it's him trying to get up.
Yeah.
I can correct him, he lays back down again, I go back to doing computer work.
Yeah.
Okay? And it's really that simple. Because we don't need fancy.
Right.
I don't care if Fitz rolls on the side, I don't care if he rolls on his back, I don't care if he's laying down like that. I just care that he's down.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, he can't get up or sit up because that's not down. But if he's like, hey, if I'm going to be here for 2 hours, at least let me get comfortable, I don't care. Okay? I'm not about how it looks, I'm about how it works.
Right.
Okay? I want the function more than anything.
Right.
So these are two very separate commands. When you work with them, be careful not to do the down, steering, and heel. Otherwise, she's going to be downing the heel. Okay?
Yeah.
Keep that in the exercise and in the practice time of its own. Once you find that Fitz will down, flop, no issues, very simple. Then you don't have to worry about doing this anymore. He's already kind of attached the two things together. Then it's the application of it. Down while I watch TV, he lays down, good. An hour and a half later, okay, Fitz, break, and he's up and he's free again. Okay? Questions?
Nope. It's just that these commands are going to be a little bit more difficult because we go to my office and he just goes right with my office manager. He's not going to do this command. So
Sure, yeah, well that's not her dog.
yeah, that's real world for me. So I mean,
Yeah. So think of it like if you don't need it at the office, you don't use it.
yeah,
Right.
Just practice from out here. So.
Right. If you go to Starbucks and you're gonna hang out for 30 minutes.
Yeah. What's your so now that we're on to something new with these commands, I mean, what's your feeling? Would you like to see me keep going with 3 more, or I mean, because I want to know from you, because I could keep on going with this to learn. Am I smarter to just keep going and set up 3 more? And
I would just continue for a month.
Okay.
Because so let's say take a month, right? And then in 3 weeks you find out like I'm not even using these things.
Okay.
Right? Then you don't use them.
Right.
Then you're not buying the 3 classes.
Okay.
Because my thing is I don't teach what people don't need.
Yeah.
Right? You've covered a lot of ground, so I'm like, all right, well here's some extra stuff, and then you decide whether or not it's gonna be applicable. And if in 3 weeks you're like, oh yeah, I do have use for this, but I need more work, then you just call us up and say, hey, I'd like to do those different classes.
Okay. Yeah, maybe what we'll do is we'll do some practicing, and then in a month or so you can see where he's at and see what he's retained.
Yeah, it all comes down to you. If you use it, you use it. If you don't, you don't.
Okay.
Right? Because in terms of family pet, heel, come, stay, sit, down, and place. Okay, and place and down are very much similar. So there's 6 basic commands for family pets. Some people only need heel and recall. Some people need heel, recall, and stay. So my whole focus is whatever you need, that's what we teach. And if you want more, we're always happy to teach it. But otherwise, you learn these skills, and then it's like, well, I don't know what to do. Right. So, okay.
Okay.
Anything else?
No?
Awesome.
We're
You did
good.
good. Yep.
You did. All right, let's get him back here. Just go for that or no?
Oh, just pull it up. The leather part. Just pull that. Yeah. There you go. It'll loosen it up. Pull it straight back.
Oh, I got it.
There you go. And then you have your long leash over
Yep,
here.
Over here. All right.
In terms of practice, 2 times a day, 5 minutes. Okay. Sit down. You know, if you do extended work with it, and you'd be like, oh yeah, I could use that here. It's really just application.
Yeah.
Like, don't stay down and stare at your dog for 30 minutes. You know, like, use it where you know you need to use it realistically. And then that'll kind of give you a better idea of where he's at and whether or not you actually need it. Okay. Anything else?
Good. Wait, you got me right between the grades?
Yeah. So if you have any questions, you let us know. You also have your 2 Zoom sessions.
Oh,
right?
Okay.
So remember that. So like if you have any questions about this stuff, or maybe there's something inside the house that you need help with or whatever, like you have those. Or maybe you have questions about this stuff, like, hey Jesse, like how did it go again?
Yeah.
You know.
Maybe what would be good, maybe I should do a couple like boredom trains or something. Just get them away from me.
It's up to you. I mean, we're here. If you're trying to get him away from you for like just to get away, like for him, you know, there's daycare.
Yeah.
And then we do pick up and drop off now as well. We go to this area too. We go south. So you can do that. I think for what you have so far in terms of his personality, I think you have a really good foundation. It's really just figuring out what is applicable to you. Okay, because it's different for everybody. I'm like the most terrible salesperson because I'm just like, I don't care about the money. I just care about you got what you needed and you're happy with it, and then you got a little extra, and it's like, I don't really need it. So I'm glad that we didn't push it.
Well, it's interesting because that's you know, I'm a business owner like you, and so like I'm always a salesman too. I do the same thing. People are like, hey, I need cameras here. I'm like, well, actually, no, we can do like camera here, fish eye, camera there. And that's all.
And it'll see what you need to see.
Yeah, and then I'm just like, wow, that's great. So I do the same way. Just give people what they really want, and then that's all you have to do. So, yeah, no, I think that it's been great. So
Excellent. If you need anything, let us know.
Cool.
You have my email and stuff. You have any questions, and if you want to set up those Zooms, you can talk to Maria. She'll get you all set up. And then if you ever want like to get away for a day or so, or whatever, he's more than welcome to come to our place. We reinforce the training and everything. So, and then you get to join in on the walks and everything.
yeah, it might be fun for him. He could probably use it because, you know, like I said, he hasn't been he's been socializing with dogs like at the park and stuff, and when they're in the open, he's okay, but
In closed areas.
yeah, so it might be good to have him in a closed environment where he actually can say, okay, so
Sure. Yeah.
that's
we can
all
take a
it's
look
going to take. It's just I know it's half me in there letting him go, and it's just going to take somebody to show him that he doesn't be so anxious.
Yeah.
And he'll
Comfort
change.
factor.
Yeah, that's all it's going to take.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. So if anything else, let us know. Otherwise, for the rest of the weekend. Cool.
You too.
Awesome. Thanks, Scott. We appreciate it. We appreciate the support.
Yeah, it's been great
Appreciate
meeting
the
you
referrals.
guys, and for sure, and I'll keep going. It's been great, honestly. This has been wonderful.
Awesome.
So,
Cool. We gotta get to the next one.
cool.
Okay.
See you later.
Stay cool.